This viewer wants to know, what do you do for exercise, Corey?
Well, I wrote about what I do in mastering yourself. So really, it's 95% of being in shape is what you put in the big hole in your face, in your mouth. But I typically will run 4 to 7 days a week. If I run too many days in a row, like Jen and I were talking about this morning, my hips start to hurt. So it's like you got to give your body time to kind of recoup. And then I do weights anywhere from usually 3 days a week, but I get lazy sometimes. I might only do each body part once or twice every 2 weeks or so. It depends on the type of year, but it's just something that's a lifestyle thing for me, that because it's like once you build the muscle, it really doesn't take a lot to maintain it. You can skip out on a few weeks at a time here and there. Your muscles will kind of shrink a little bit, but as soon as you go back in the gym, they plump back up because you've already built the muscle mass. So it's
If
like,
you're not trying to make gains,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I'm not trying to be some big and bulky dude. I wear medium shirts. They're all tight fitting, and I'm fit and I'm in shape. And you have to do both. You have to do cardio, and so typically I run at I got a wood weight treadmill, which is one of the best treadmills in the world, a forefront. But they're expensive. I think they're like $12,000 or 14,000. I don't even remember what the hell the thing costs now. But I'll run for 20 minutes at 6.3 miles an hour, and that'll get me a little over, I think, 3 miles when I run. And I do it first thing in the morning, and it's a great way to start the day. But I found that you got to do both. You got to push up weights, and you got to do cardio, because the weight training causes the muscles to expand and contract, and that's what moves the lymphatic system to cause it to drain into the colon. Because I found that just doing cardio is not enough, and especially the older you get, you got to weight train, because otherwise your muscles are going to atrophy and you'll shrink. And then when you get older, you'll be in a wheelchair. You won't be able to walk around. It's like you use it or lose it. If you think when you're younger, you're active, especially when you're a kid, you're climbing trees, you're riding bikes, you're jumping ramps, you're doing all kinds of fun things, you're playing sports. As people get into their 20s, it's like we were talking about this yesterday, how it's like most of the people I knew in my class, a lot of them worked out in high school, and then it's usually by 24, 25, like 95% of them had stopped working out, and then people just start packing on the pounds. They get married to like 25 to 40. They're getting bigger and more plumper, and physical fitness just is something that most people completely neglect. I think it was like 74% of Americans are either overweight or they're morbidly obese.
I was thinking of that quote when I was in jury duty this week, because I was in a room of like 1,000 people. And I remember you saying that. And so I looked around the room, and it was pretty accurate. It was because, jury duty is a slice of the population for the most part. And yeah, there's a lot of overweight people, a lot.
Well, what's interesting is you see this a lot now. We see video from like the 80s when we were growing up, or the 1970s, and just everybody was thin. I mean, in my high school, there was I could count them on one hand the number of people in my class that were fat. And now it's like you just walk around outside, and the majority of the people are overweight or they're
You grew up in
obese.
Florida. I grew up in Alabama. There were always lots of fat people. Biscuits and gravy.
But now they're everywhere. It's like
Yeah,
everybody's supersized, and it's all the carbs and the sugar that people eat.
yeah.